What's going on, YouTube? It is. Oh fuck! I don't have my watch. I'm gonna go get it. All right. I need my watch. Whew. I like to keep track of the calories that I spend. And I know it's not super accurate, but I still like to see how much I move. Right. So it's 4:37 in the morning. On my way to the gym. I'm about to go hit legs. Feel pretty good. I slept pretty early last night. I was out before 10 for sure. So man, as long as I get my 6-ish hours, great. This leg day is fueled by two rice cakes, drizzled with some sugar-free honey, and some coffee. I'm gonna do with some coffee, a little bit of sugar-free creamer, splash of almond milk, and I'm gonna see if it should be enough. I got my pump in here. This ain't no pre-workout. Trying to catch a leg pump with some creatine in here. Pretty solid. I've been trying to watch my caffeine intake, right? Because man, waking up at 4 a.m. and slamming 300 milligrams of caffeine, it's kind of crazy when you think about it, right? Then you got the whole day to go after 5, 6 in the morning, and you want more caffeine, and you're like, oh man, like that's a lot of caffeine throughout the day. And I've done it for so long that sometimes, I don't know, I don't feel like it's affected me, but I just know it's a lot going in my body. I'm like, okay, maybe I should chill. So, and it's usually easier to go over my caffeine levels when it's just my fridge is stocked up, right? If my fridge is stocked with rains, I'm gonna bust one in the morning. When I get home from work, I'm tired. I'm gonna bust another one. This is how my mind works. But lately, or this past grocery trip, I bought the Sea Bum energy drinks, and their flavors are solid, good ass flavors. But caffeine is like 112. Like, what I'm gonna do with that? You know. So I've been I've been drinking pre workout, saving my Sea Bums, and drinking them throughout my shift at work. It's just me switching it up, trying to not stay, trying to get bored with it, I guess, throughout this prep, right? Because today is Thursday, Friday, Saturday. This Saturday, I'll be 3 weeks out from my first bodybuilding show, and dude, it's here, damn near. It's here. I actually got a body fat scan done yesterday, and that shit said I was 11.5% body fat. Man, ain't no fucking way. Ain't no way, right? Because I'm down there, And I showed my coach, right, and he was like, "Man, I told you not to do it. It's gonna get in your head, this and that, yada yada." He's like, "It's definitely not accurate." He was like, "You're definitely leaner than I am right now," and you know, he just said ignore it. My estimate, I'm probably around like 8, 9, with 3 weeks left. 2 weeks of prep, really, of cutting. I'm sure peak week is gonna be a different thing. 3 weeks left until show day after this Saturday, and I kind of just want to get it over with. Like it's been a long, long prep. Like it is August right now. I remember it being like April. Like it was before the summer started. Like before, May, June. we had all these plans for the summer, and all I could talk about was like, I'm gonna be in prep. I'm gonna be in prep, and it's almost done. And I wanted to talk to you guys about how I did it. Right. So I guess little tips, right, on how I've lost 35 pounds. I'm 35 pounds down. Now, my 35 pounds down can look completely different from your 35 pounds down, right? Because our body fat percentages could be way different. Uh, but I want to talk about the consistency and the routines that I had, right? Number one thing, first things first, is I tracked my macros. Your macros are your proteins, your fats, and your carbs, right? When you add all those three together, they equal the total amount of calories that you're eating a day. So I was tracking everything I ate, everything. Don't think that I'm making the sandwich, tracking the mayo. I'm scooping the mayo. It's in the tablespoon. Everything. I'm drinking a glass of milk. I'm weighing it. Sometimes I weigh it. Sometimes I use a cup. It just depends on the mood I'm in. I guess same thing. But point is, I tracked everything I ate for the last 4 months. You know, like it was that serious. Obviously, when I started the prep, it wasn't as aggressive as it is now, right? So the total number of calories that I was eating at the beginning was a lot higher than what I'm eating now. Now it's on game, like it's low, so it's harder now. But yes, I tracked everything I eat. I tracked drinks. Very important if you drink a drink, because a lot of people, or most of America, doesn't realize that the majority of their calories come from their drinks. And they're so easy to consume and so easy to go over. But majority of the prep, I was on sugar-free drinks anyways, right? So I didn't really have to track them. That's like the biggest tip I can give you. If all you can do is, you drink sodas, sugar-free sodas. You don't have to worry about the calories. Juices, I really ain't drink no juices because they all got sugar. They all got calories. So I was finding sugar-free anything, whether it was like a hydration drink, you know what I mean, things like that. I drink a lot of sparkling waters. Those low key carried me throughout my prep, keep me hydrated, make sure I was getting some type of water when I wanted a little flavor. You know. Uh, but that being said, yes, I tracked everything I ate. I used an app called MyFitnessPal. I've always used that app even before like this prep, like back in the day when I would lose weight. I've always used it. I paid for it. It's like $80 a year, And the only difference, the main difference that I paid for is I think when you don't pay for it, you can track your calories, but you can't track your macros. So I needed to be that specific to track my macros. So I paid for it. You pay for it $80 for a whole year. It's not bad. It's worth it. I mean, how bad do you really want to lose weight, right? $80 gonna hold you back for wanting to achieve your goals. Pay for it. So yeah, my fitness pal is my best friend. I'm sitting there making my dinners. I'm still, especially now that my calories are so low. I'm making my dinners like on my phone next to me. I'm tracking. I'm weighing. Blah blah blah. Is it tedious? Does it take some time? Yes. Does it feel like a chore? Yes. But you get used to it. You get used to it. Your family gets used to it. They'll probably make fun of you for it, but hey, you got goals. You want to achieve those goals. You're gonna do whatever it takes. So how I look at it is, how bad do you want to lose the weight? How bad do you want this? Oh, it's too much. I don't got time to do it. All right, you don't want it that bad. Thought you wanted it that bad, but you don't because you can't sit there and track your food, which it's not hard. It's not like I'm asking you to do something challenging. I'm asking you to do something that takes time, that takes investing in yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like it's for you. It's something that's gonna help you out. But yeah, I paid for my fitness pal, and one thing about tracking your food is I always logged it in before I ate it, so that I made sure I never went over on any macro, proteins, carbs, or fats. Specifically carbs, because they go like that. Um, but yes, like today, I have my lunchbox already ready in my fridge, and what I have in my lunchbox is already logged in the app, right? So I make sure that when I eat the food I have at work, I get home with extra calories that I'm able to play with and wiggle around and find foods to finish off the remainder of my macros. So it's just something that I do. I don't know. If you're really, really good at estimating, then by all means, track as you go. But I pre-log. Another thing is I don't go out to eat. You can't. You can't because you don't know what these people are making back in these kitchens, right? Fast food restaurants. Have I? I think I have. I've been to Taco Bell one time because I was out of town. I was in San Antonio, and this wasn't that deep into my cut. It's probably like a month or two ago. I was in San Antonio, and the only thing I had logged in that morning was I think some protein chips or something, right? And I was on the business trip, you can call it. Had a lunch break, and then I was hungry. I didn't know what to eat, right? So I looked up some restaurants. I looked up what was around, and I found Taco Bell, and I had two bean burritos, and it fit my macros. They had surprisingly decent macros. They were a little high on carbs, but at the time my carbs were up there, so I had some wiggle room. So I had Taco Bell, and I think recently my girlfriend wanted Jack in the Box. Right? We go to Jack in the Box. We're in the drive-through, and I had already pre-logged my food, my dinner that night, and I go, man, I wonder if there's something I get on the menu, right? So I start doing my research, and I found I was able to eat the little mini tacos that Jack in the Box sells. I think those were the only two times that I had fast food throughout this whole prep. I haven't had fast food since like before April, May, June, July, August. That's 4 to 5 months. You know, that's a long time. When's the last time you got a month, a week with no fast food? You know what I mean? And I don't know. Like I miss it sometimes, right? But the cool thing is I've been in the kitchen. I've been in the kitchen, and I really think after this prep, I'm gonna be whipping up a lot of my own food because it was low key fun. Yeah, no fast food. It is what it is. How bad do you want it? You know. And then when I went to the stores, and this is really like I guess you could say like a beginner's advice, right? But you go to the store, substitute everything, right? If you normally get this, look right next to it. You're gonna find something with lower calories. I promise you. Pick the lower calorie. Uh, is it gonna taste as good? Probably not. You know, losing weight has a sacrifice. You're gonna have to sacrifice something. You know what I mean? But you can find things that still make it taste enjoyable. You can enjoy your food. It doesn't have to suck, right? So look around. Go to the store. People look at you funny. I'm in people's way. You know, you go around. You know, I'm over here comparing things. I got all the time in the world at a grocery store. So yeah, look around. You can find something that's lower calories. You get a certain type of bread. There's a bread somewhere near it with lower calories. Cheese. There's fat-free cheese there. You know. Um, and my biggest trick that I can say helped me right somehow when I would log track my macros. The main thing I would pay attention to when I was looking at the back or the nutritional facts was the protein and the carbs. That was like my goals. When I would look at my app, I'd be like, okay, uh, I'm gonna eat this and this to get some carbs in, or I'm gonna eat this and this to get some proteins in. But because of the way I grocery shop, everything that I bought was always low on fats, whether it was zero fat, no fat, low on fats, right? So me targeting my proteins and fats somehow always made, I mean, me always targeting my proteins and carbs somehow always balanced out my fats, right? So if you look for good sources of protein, good sources of carbs, your fats will be fine. At least they were throughout a prep, like a bodybuilding prep. I can only imagine if you're just trying to lose weight, you know? Like you don't realize how much fat is in these foods until you look behind, you turn it over and look at the nutritional facts. But that's like my, I don't know, you can call it my secret, but it worked like magic, right? Because I was never like, oh damn, I went over my fat. Sometimes I would like by 5 grams max, which really ain't nothing. But if I was making food, cooking food, eating food at home, I always bought good sources of protein and good sources of carbs that my fats were never a problem. Never. It's crazy, right? And I was thinking about this yesterday, how I haven't been able to eat like good sources of fats because everything's so high in them, right? Like I haven't had an avocado in a long time. They're not bad. They're just so high in fats. You can't push that number up. I don't think my fats were never over since I started this prep. I think it was like 60 grams or 70. They're 40 now, so now I really gotta watch them. 40 grams of fat a day. People eat 40 grams of fat in a meal nowadays, if not more. I eat that in a day. But yeah, uh, and the more you do it, the more consistent you get with it, the easier it gets. The less you think about it, the less stressful it is. You actually start to enjoy it. You actually start to enjoy being aware of what you're putting in your body, right? Because you get to a point where you're kind of okay with your weight and what you're at, that you don't keep losing weight, right? Like if I wasn't in this prep, I would have stopped tracking food maybe like a month ago because I was okay with what I looked like. But obviously, for a bodybuilding prep, you have to keep going, right? I'm gonna cut this video short because it's 4:55 and I got to get the hell in the gym and hit legs. Cause I got work today. So I'm gonna go to work, and I don't have any of my kids today, so I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself when I get off work. But hey, I'll probably go watch the new Spider-Man movie. Who knows? Thanks for watching, guys. Work on yourself. Work on your fitness. Work on your mental health. We got this, dads. Remember, your kids are watching. They're watching and they're learning from you. Peace.